what's going on. As you guys can probably see or maybe hear, it is incredibly windy right now. And you know, it's about 7:30, and I spent probably the first hour this morning fishing main walls in the river, and just really didn't have any good luck doing that. It was just, you know, I saw a few fish hit, but eventually I get too frustrated trying to fight the wind, and now I'm going to move back into some residential canals and pitch some smaller presentations and see if there's some nice snook, tarpon, or jack in these little canals, and really just to get away from the wind. You know, the wind's not a bad thing, but it's just frustrating to fish in, and when I'm by myself, it makes it even harder to run the trolling motor and try to fish and try to film all at once. You know, if you're fishing with someone who can run the motor or something, it's not as bad, but when you're running solo, it's kind of hard to fish the wind sometimes. So I'm going to move back into some canals and hopefully hook up with some snook back there. Gosh, I haven't landed something ate that. This must be a jack. Oh my gosh, it's a micro. I don't know how this thing even got the wide gap hook in its mouth. First fish of the day. This is pretty cool right here. I'll show you. If you guys remember in my other video how silver and white those jacks I was catching the other day, and now I'm way back in the river, and you see how dark and yellow the coloration on this fish is. It's just very cool how different fish's colors can be depending where they are in a river. Oh, about to break my rod here. Little peanut to start the day. Oh God, that hit was insane. Oh, turn. This is a decent sized fish. I guess that was a jack. Oh my gosh. He's like directly beneath the boat right now. This wind has got me bad. It's not even that big of a fish, but that hit was just insane, dude. That's a decent sized jack for back in a canal like this. Whew. Honestly, that's not a bad jack for being back in a little canal like this. And dude, that was one of the most aggressive hits in the world. I thought I just had a 40-inch snook come out underneath that dock and try to eat that airhead. But that's a beautiful, beautiful jack. And it's hard battling these fish, you know, when you're blowing around the wind. I almost nailed that person's dock. I had a dog barking at me. But, I mean, it feels good to catch some fish this morning, even if they're not giants. It's just nice to get out and get on some fish, you know what I mean? But we're going to release that guy and keep going. Go. That's a nice snook too. He's not a big one, but he's not a shrimp. A nice snook. Oh, there's something following him. He's barely hooked. Got him. Hook just came out right when I grabbed him. There we go. Alright, that's a very fat and healthy snook right there. It was awesome. He went airborne completely to eat that. It's very cool. Definitely my favorite fish of all time to catch right there. They hit like a bass, but fight a lot harder than bass do. I mean, he's just a beautiful, perfect backwater snook. You see how dark his back is? That tells you that he's been living back here. He's got bright yellow fins, been living in this sweet water. Awesome, beautiful fish. If you like frog fishing and freshwater for bass, throwing these things right here, these airheads, even if it's not even necessarily an airhead, but a weightless fluke and running across the top, I think is the closest you can get to frog fishing in salt water, and it is just so much freaking fun to watch snook and jack explode on top like these. And what's cool, because it's not like throwing a traditional top water that has treble hooks, but this has a single hook like a frog, and so when it hits, you tighten down and you whale the hook into them. So it's just fun to be, you know, setting hooks and watching topwater blow-ups happen. That was a snook, it sounded like. I think it's a pretty decent one. Oh, what the heck, dude? That was a huge fish. Look at this. What was that? It straightened out my freaking wide gap. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. I've never had a wide gap hook straighten out on me like that. I saw it flash. It was a really big snook. At least this is what I think it looked like. I don't know what that... God, what do I have on? Oh, what the heck, dude? It's gotta be a jack, but it's fighting harder than anything I've caught today. And it didn't look that big though. Oh, lost my hat. Big one. this is what I was talking about earlier in terms of color contrast depending on where these fish are living in the river. You see, right now I'm closer to an inlet, and you can see how light colored this fish is compared to the ones I was catching way back in the river that had really dark yellow fins and almost a dark brown coloration on his back. Well, his fins are almost transparent white, get a little bit of yellow in them, but his back is kind of silver and his bottom is just completely white. And it's really interesting how different these fish can look just depending on where they are in the river. Pretty cool. Alright, I am done for today. Today was an interesting day, you know. It wasn't absolutely killer, but we caught a decent amount of fish. And it's always one of my favorite things to do is to get back in tight corners and really battle those fish on light tackle and around structure. And it's so much fun. Even if the fish aren't huge, it's really fun just to fight those fish in that tight structure. It's awesome. And the DOA Airhead was killer today for me. Just that light topwater action skipping across the top. It really got the job done for me, and it worked well. I think I ended with 5 or 6 jack, and I caught one snook and had a nice one on that straightened a wide gap hook, which I've never had anything straighten a wide gap hook on me before. And I saw that fish eat on top, that classic snook slurp, just to inhale that bait, and I set the hook into it. And when I set the hook, I saw it flash, and it was probably a 32-inch snook or so. I would have to guess it. Minimum that size, probably. A lot of times when a snook doesn't instantly come to the surface, that's how you can tell it's a bigger one. A lot of times, smaller ones will instantly, you hook them, they'll jump. The bigger ones, they'll dig down, and then finally come to the surface and shake their head really erratically at the surface. But it's alright, it happens. I'll need to beef up my hooks next time for sure. You know, it was a fun day. It was really nice to get out in the water, and sometimes it's all you can ask for is just be able to get out in the water and catch some fish, you know. Not every day is going to be killer, but appreciate the days that you have getting out in the water and fishing. That's my sentimental message for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the footage.